As someone who has never seen Smile PreCure beyond the opening sequence before, I've decided to watch Glitter Force first in order to give the show a fair chance. That was a mistake. First of all, a little bit of history between me and the PreCure franchise. Originally, this show had a really interesting concept. It was a concept of two magical girls who had to work together to use their powers. Their powers would not work if they were not working in sync. This was a really interesting concept. I really loved it, and they dumped it with the third season of the show. So basically nowadays, PreCure is nothing else but girl Sentai, except fully animated. But I still kept tabs on the show, not to watch the actual show, but because I really like the transformation sequences. So I decided, hey, I'll check in once every year to see what the transformation sequences look like and what the openings look like, and I'll gorge myself on the gorgeous animation, which is probably the only gorgeous animation in the whole show. I sort of have a thing for magical girl transformations.
Oh god, yeah, sparkle all the way.
I have an issue with magical girl transformations. So yeah, I was really out of touch with PreCure. And then I heard that Glitter Force was a thing.
Hi, I'm Emily, and I'm a Glitter Force warrior, chosen to defend Earth and the Kingdom of Jubiland from the forces of darkness. What's even better is that my classmates Kelsey, Lily, Chloe, and April found out they're part of the Glitter Force too. That means fighting fairy tale villains like Ulrich, the big bad wolf, and his buffoons. Glitter time, girls, hurry! All together, Glitter Force makeover!
Basically, Saban, the company who is doing Power Rangers, by taking Sentai, taking out everything that proves that Sentai is set in Japan, and refilming everything to make it look like it is set in America, which is not a bad thing. I really appreciate all the effort that goes into Power Rangers. Yeah, Saban took a look at PreCure and was like, hey, this is girl Sentai. Let's make girl Power Rangers with it. In fact, we don't even have to refilm everything, because it's already animated, so nobody can tell it's set in Japan anyway. It's perfect. And what they did is a dub. Do you remember the old original Sailor Moon dub? You pretty much know what you're in for here if you know that dub.
Whatever, it's a wonderful feeling, and you know it when you feel it.
I think that's called sunstroke.
Okay, let's talk about the show itself. I have never seen any version of Smile PreCure before this. I have only seen the opening sequence and the transformations, and that's all I knew about the show. So with that limited knowledge, I went into the show, and I first took a look at the English version. Why? Because I wanted to give the English version a fair chance in order to go against the stereotype that if I know the Japanese, I'll automatically like the Japanese better, even if the English dub isn't bad. Yeah, I decided to watch Glitter Force first and then watch the first episode in Japanese. I really regret doing that. This show, I think Glitter Force is best enjoyed like an abridged series. You already know the original series, and then later you look at Glitter Force and think, yes, this is funny. But if you just look at Glitter Force on its own, play the clip.
It's like a fairy tale with girl power and makeup.
This is a thing. This is a thing that was actually uttered. Save me. Smile PreCure is probably not a series that has that high standards to begin with. Again, I have never watched the full series, but based on the first episode alone, I think it's safe to assume that this is a very cutesy, very simple show that that takes itself too seriously at times, but knows when to not take itself seriously. Basically, the original Smile PreCure does take itself seriously around 70% of the time, and the other 30% of the time it does not seem to take itself all too seriously, which is good, because this is a show that really needs to understand that it is not to be taken that seriously and that there's a lot of silly shit in there that you should better just smile at and laugh. And then there's the dub. The dub reverses the numbers. And the dub, 70% of the time it's not taking itself seriously, and 30% of the time it is taking itself seriously.
Calm down, Emily. It's gonna be okay. You'll make new friends and... Hey, a butterfly. They're good luck.
So, let's talk about the story. Of course, all the character names were changed, so for now I am going to address them by their colors, because that's easy. I mean, this is the pink one, this is the green one, this is the blue one, this is the red one, this is the yellow one. See? You know who I'm talking about. It doesn't matter which version you saw, if I say it like this, you know who I'm talking about, so that's what I'm gonna do. So, totally regardless of the version you're watching, what happens in the first episode? Well, first of all, we get the most cliché opening of all Magical Girl times, with our main character, Pink, running up the street because, oh no, she is late for her first day of school! Haven't had that one before, have we? I know that this series is supposed to be cliché, I mean it's about fairy tales and all, but... you don't have to make it that obvious, man. So Pink runs down the street and suddenly something bumps into her and she finds a magical book and she finds what can only be described as a PreCure mascot. Because, let's face it, this is a PreCure mascot. We know that it's a PreCure mascot. We don't even have to pretend that we don't know what it is. So Pink runs into the PreCure mascot. Pink is like, oh, this is like in my fairy tales. Then the PreCure mascot disappears and Pink is like, did I just dream this? But then she sees the book and is like, no, it was real. And she picks the book up and goes to school. When she's at school, we learn that Pink is not only late for school, no, she is also a transfer student. So that's 2 anime cliches for the price of 1. Why do you have a transfer student who is late for her first day of school? That's too much anime, man! It's too much anime, man! She stands in front of the class, she absolutely fails at giving introductions, which leads into Red, or as I like to call her, Osaka Girl, because seriously, even in the English dub I could tell that this is supposed to be Osaka Girl. It's a personality, she's Osaka Girl. So yeah, Red Osaka Girl gets up and is like, your introduction is lame, and gives an introduction instead, which leads into Blue and Green scolding her, and then Red, for some reason, decides, oh yeah, I'm going to introduce these people to you now for no other reason than they were talking. It's totally not to signify that they are main characters, because, you know, we couldn't tell that they were main characters. I mean, it's so hard to tell with their blue and green hair, and then there's this yellow-haired girl who is shy, and they have such cliche personalities that it's absolutely obvious what they are supposed to be. Oh my god, spot the main character in this absolutely bland class with only 5 students who have dyed hair for some reason. After school, for vastly different reasons depending on the version you're watching, Pink decides to go to the school library, where she sees a strange book that is glowing, and she tries to take it out, but it disappears, and it appears somewhere else. With a vastly different transition depending on which version you're watching. She suddenly sees the fairy from before again. They call it a fairy, I call it the PreCure mascot. And she sees that fairy thing running through the shopping district. So Pink is like, oh no, I have to help this thing. And she leans forward and suddenly she's transported into another part of the town, and where she tries to grab the fairy, but the fairy tries to get away, and then the fairy yells, oh no, there's a big black wolf in the sky, and Pink looks up and sees what I can only describe as a Twilight reject. So yeah, Twilight reject, it rips out a big book and splatters ink all over it, and that casts a magic spell, which apparently rewrites the future of the world to become a bad ending, which means that he's sucking out the energy out of all the people in the town. He's apparently trying to use this energy to revive some kind of evil force, which really reminds me of the plot of the first PreCure. So how exactly is this different? So Pink sees all the people getting depressed and hopeless because the energy is being sucked out. And Pink is like, no, it will be happy. This world will be happy. This world will be happy. She has this weird thing with obsession with happy endings. In fact, in the Japanese version, her catchphrase is ultra happy. Okay, I guess you can say that. Ultra happy. Nice. I would go with super happy. That's happy enough. That's generally a thing. I think in the Japanese version it's more about happiness, while in the English version it's more about fairy tales, which is not that actually it's very different. Actually, fairy tales are not that happy if you think about it. But okay, it's a cute series, I'm not supposed to question it. I'm not going to question it anymore. So, Pink opposes the Twilight Reject with the most magical girly speech that she can give, and her heart, what do I know, reacts to that, and suddenly she calls forth a compact mirror, which is called the Smile Pact in Japanese, and the Glitter Pact in English. I think both names are kind of ridiculous. The fairy is like, yeah, you are the warrior I've been searching for. Then she can transform into her form, and in Japanese it's called Cure Happy, and in English it's called Glitter Lucky. I don't know why they couldn't keep happy. The English version has a stranger version with happiness, I noticed. Saban, do you not want us to be happy? Do you not want us to be happy, Saban? She transforms, and at first she absolutely fails at doing anything whatsoever because she's pink. The pink one always has to fail at first. The Twilight Reject is just like, what in the hell are you even supposed to be? Then she has the most stupid idea of all time.
Wolves can't get through bricks. I know that from reading The Three Little Pigs. I've done my homework.
And it's absolutely the same in both dubs. This was not changed. They decided to keep this line. Okay? So yeah, Twilight Reject decides to whack all the shit up and summons a monster, and after some mishaps, Pink defeats the monster, a charm appears, Pink takes the charm, Candy the fairy is like, yay, you got the charm, this is what you were supposed to do, and then the episode ends and Pink is like, yay, I'm a superhero now, and the end. So yeah, that's my PreCure for now. Let's talk about the dub changes. So, now that I've gotten this really, really bad plot summary out of the way, man, I really need to take notes next time. Let's talk about the original versus the dub. First of all, if you're searching for an accurate dub of Smile PreCure, you'll be sorely disappointed. But I think that's no surprise, given that this is Saban dubbing this. Yeah, they've pretty much gone with Power Rangers treatment here. Everything is obviously supposed to be said in America. They make it painfully obvious that it's supposed to be said in America.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the... Oh, no, wait a minute. No, what I meant is...
They try to make the opening slightly less cliche, only to fail at it spectacularly. In the beginning, we get some more minutes with the main character before we actually dive into the, oh god, I'm late. The problem here being that they exchanged one terrible opening cliche for another, and that's they added in a dream. From the moment I started the episode, I could tell that this was not in the original Japanese version. Why could I tell? Because they do something that no PreCure show should ever do. They spoil the transformations. And not only do they spoil the transformations for every single character, they then go on to spoil the second form of the cures and their final finishing move. And you don't do that. You don't start off the first minute of your show by spoiling the big climax finishing move. This is like something that you're supposed to be looking forward to. This is like starting a Power Rangers show and showing off the Mega Sword in the first minute, like the fully realized super version of the Mega Sword in the first 2 minutes. You don't do that, man. I was like, no, why did you show me that? I went unspoiled into this for a reason, and then you go and spoil me? That's messed up, man. You don't do that. You don't. Yeah, this dream insert, it was already pretty poorly done. It was poorly done. It was haphazardly. It felt really unnatural. I could tell from the first second that this was added in with bad editing. And they added some of the worst possible dialogue I've ever heard in my whole life.
So the pipsqueak is here too.
Yeah, and I got here first, you evil flea bag! He's not gonna like being called that.
The script is terrible. The script is really terrible. No, let me correct that. Let me correct that. The script is terrible when it's trying to be PreCure. When it's trying to be a gag dub of PreCure, it's really good, because this is 70% gag dub. And it's at being a gag dub, it's really good. But whenever it's trying to be sincere about what it's supposed to be, which is PreCure, it's really, it feels not like something people would just say.
Oh my gosh, you're unbelievably cute! Are you somebody's toy? Are you really expensive? Where can I buy one of you?
It feels like a gag dub trying to not be a gag dub. Imagine if Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged actually tried to tell the actual story of Yu-Gi-Oh! And tried to make you feel emotions for it. That's pretty much what you're getting in the first episode of Glitter Force. I'm actually really conflicted. Is this a good script or a bad script? Because it's a funny script. But it's so stilted. What I can say is, this is something very positive about the dub. It's the voice acting is really, really good. Which is a total waste for this show. It's way too good for this show. I guess we can thank Mary Elizabeth McGlynn for the good dub voice acting, because she's the voice director in this, and you can tell that she has a lot of experience. She does this really well. Pink, who's called Miyuki in the Japanese version and Emily in the American version, is voiced by Laura Bailey. Which is why I have chosen to call Glitter Force a critical waste of Laura Bailey.
Oh, no it isn't! You don't get to decide when this story's over, or what kind of ending it has!
You're a pain, you know that? All right, if that's how you want it, we'll finish it the hard way!
Now it'll be a happy ending!
If I imagine that we lost Laura Bailey's Risa in Persona for Dancing All Night to this show, I'm just feeling like, no, why? It's stellar voice acting, it's amazing voice acting, but like, this is a gag dub. You could have gotten anyone for this. You could have gotten me for this, and it would have had the same effect, you know? Okay, maybe not me, my accent would have been a problem. Laura Bailey is a great voice actress. And to hear her voice used for something that absolutely does not need any kind of emotion, that absolutely does not need this kind of talent, it feels like such a waste. Imagine hearing Yuri Leventhal in a Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged. You would be thinking, amazing, but what is he doing here? And that's pretty much what I felt when I watched this. Amazing, but what is she doing here? Laura, amazing emotion in your acting, but this was what you were supposed to put this in. Like, do you see this girl, big on the cover? She has a lot of emotion in that game. This is where you were supposed to put that. And I don't blame you, because they got to you first, and like Ned Saban got to you first, and you had no way of knowing that this was going to be a thing. But all this amazing acting could have gone here. We could have had this in Persona for Dancing All Night. I'll stop already. Critical waste of Laura Bailey. I'll stand by this probably to the end of the show. The flow of the first episode was changed a lot as well. I could immediately tell that the pacing was so rushed in the English version. The information was just being shoved into my face, and I was, absorb this, you have to know all of this, we will not repeat this will all be under test. They changed some orders of events, for example, with the dream sequence in the beginning, in the introduction sequence in the school, they added in some forced flashbacks to Pink remembering the other colors from her dream, which never happened in the Japanese version, of course. She apparently is supposed to already know that they are the other Glitter Force warriors now, so since this was not a thing in the Japanese version, I wonder how they are going to do this, because it's going to be really weird if in the next episode she acts like she doesn't know. I'm just wondering how they are going to handle this, but I'll get to more plot holes that they opened up in like a few minutes. They changed the reason why she went into the library. In the original, she saw Candy from the window. Candy was outside. So for some reason she thought, hey, if Candy was all the way over there, maybe she's all the way in here now. wow. And she's in the school for some reason, which didn't make a whole lot of sense in the Japanese either. Yeah, I'm not saying that this was ever a good show to begin with. It was a cute show, it was a nice show, but it was never a show that made a whole lot of sense from what I can tell so far. Maybe that's going to change somewhere down the line. In the English version, they changed it that because she had flashbacks to her dream again, she went to the library to research dreams. To be honest, both versions make no sense, so I'm not going to say which is the better, because neither really is good. But what they did in the English version here, first of all, they added some really confusing dialogue that feels like it was spoken out of order.
Emily, you're not in Kansas anymore.
Here they added some bit of exposition that by a character who's identified only as the queen. And I'm pretty sure, like, PreCure tends to have queens, but I'm pretty sure that this queen was not supposed to appear this early in the show. I was pretty sure from the beginning, and then I saw the original Japanese, and yep, no queen in the first episode. They totally edited her in from a later episode. They edited her into the first episode from a later episode. Again, spoiling something from later on. I mean, yeah, with PreCure, it's not a big spoiler that there's going to be a queen somewhere down the line, but still, why do you do this, Glitter Force? Why don't you just give us the whole rundown of everything that you're going to do right now so we get it over with? I know you want to, do it. I know you want to. There are also some points where the dub opens up some really, really big holes. For example, in the English version, it is mentioned that the power of magic that the Twilight Reject uses to summon monsters was stolen from Candy's people.
Don't look so surprised. You don't have a monopoly on magic. We can use it too to summon monsters.
You mean steal magic?
And so, okay, so how does this come in? And then later when Pink defeats the monster, a charm, a strawberry-shaped charm falls down, and it's called a glitter charm, and she picks it up, and I was like, where did that come from? Why did she get that? I don't get it.
Huh? What's this? It's a glitter charm? Really?
It's in the Japanese version where it's explicitly said that the magic that was stolen from Candy's people is called Cure de Course.
イエロー様の力でキュアデコルのパワーをバッドエンドに変えて生み出した怪物だ。
キュアデコル。
And the Cure de Course are little charms that the warriors, the Glitter Force members or PreCure members are supposed to collect.
何これ？キュアデコルくる！何？
So now it makes sense why this charm fell down, because by defeating the monster they retrieved the stolen charm, and like, it was in the English version, but it was said in a way that did not make it obvious that this charm was supposed to be the magic that was stolen. It confuses me because these steps usually over-clarify everything to a point that is almost annoying. Maybe they are going to explain it in the next episode, but I was just like, yeah, why did you take that out? You could have had the Twilight Reject use the term glitter charm, then again, maybe you didn't want to make him any more ridiculous than he already was. Maybe they didn't want to put the words glitter charms into his mouth. The script, as I said, 30% of the scripts are actually surprisingly faithful to what is going on in the Japanese version. We actually, like, the characters are surprisingly pretty much the same that they were.
Here, that's April. Really good at sports, any sport. Outdoorsy, super athletic. In fact, she's tougher than most of the boys at this school. Hey, I'm not that tough.
Nice to meet you.
As for Chloe here, she's brainy, pretty, popular yet humble, the whole package. And she's student body vice president. She's so perfect, it's kinda scary.
I'm not perfect.
あっちが緑川直。スポーツ万能でおまけに義理がたくって情に脆い。女番長って感じやな。
番長？番長？
ほんでこっちのお嬢様が青木玲香。クラス委員で生徒会副会長。勉強もできておまけに男子にモテモテ。
モテモテ。
And then there's Yellow. And I feel they are just trying to make Yellow into the total comic relief. Like in the Japanese version, she was shy and soft-spoken.
星空さんの緊張をほぐそうと思ってふざけただけだから。
And then we get the English version where she gives lines like this.
I especially like the part where you said your name was Emily. I had a hamster named Emily.
Yeah, these are the lines where you think this is a gag dub, isn't it? Something else good that I can say about the show, though, is that they replaced the soundtrack, but at least they replaced the soundtrack with good music. The music during the transformation sequence is not the same that it was in the Japanese, and it's not quite as grand and epic, but it's good music, and it feels fitting for the transformation. And it's fun, it really gets you energized, and I think this is something Saban is really good at. It's something that's something 4Kids was never good at, putting music under things, and Saban is actually good at this, unless you look at Digimon. So yeah, the music is pretty good in the dub, except the opening theme is extremely generic, which makes me sad because the original Smile PreCure is such a damn catchy song.
Smile, 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 PreCure. Smile, smile, PreCure 一緒に Smile, smile, PreCure 明日へジャンプ照らす笑い顔女の子ダイヤモンド負けない雪束ねたら
I love this song. So yeah, damn catchy song in the Japanese version, not so much in the English version. But what they did do, what really surprised me in the English version, they kept the ending. But they changed the song. Like, you don't actually usually see them keep the ending. And in this case, I sort of wish they didn't. Because it's CGI. And Toei's CGI is known for being kind of creepy. But it's actually nice here. It's okay. I'm surprised they kept the ending, so that's something. So yeah, what do I say about this show? This is the first episode, so there's not really much to judge yet. But I can already tell that this is not going to be 100% serious stuff. So, if you're searching to watch Smile PreCure, you probably should not be watching this. In fact, I would not recommend you watch this if you have not seen Smile PreCure at all. In fact, from now on, I'm going to start watching the Japanese episode first and then the English episode. I think this is best enjoyed if you know the Japanese episodes, and then you can actually enjoy the gags made in the gag dub. There's some really savvy lines that make you actually appreciate the gag script a little bit, because it points out some weird things in the show, and it's really fun to see the characters react to it in such a gag dubby way. Yeah, if you're generally up for watching a gag dub of Smile PreCure, go ahead, try this one. It's pretty funny, I have to admit. I don't know if it's intentional, but I think they were trying to go for the gag dub crowd, so I can't call it so bad it's good. So is it a good dub? It's good voice acting. It's a funny script. It's not a good dub. Not at all. It's not the same show anymore. So yeah, if you're up for that, check it out. If you want to see Smile PreCure, then go watch the subs. Go buy the DVD. You know what the best possible way is. If you want to support the industry, get a Netflix subscription. Click on the episode and let it run while you do something else in the background, and then go and watch the subs. Because that way you actually support the show. While actually getting the actual show. For my part, I'm going to continue doing these vlogs. I'm not sure how many of these a week I can pump out, but it's fun so far. It's a really cliche show, but I love magical girls, so I'm sure I will last. I'm not going to watch the English episode first anymore. From now on, I think I'm going to stick watching the Japanese episode first and then the English episode. So yeah, that's my thought on that for now. I'll try to keep myself shorter next time, and until then, see ya!